Today we're sitting in our office here talking with Yasiim Bribieseca, and want to visit with him a little bit about his what's happened to him the last year, where he had to take a year off because of having major reconstruction on his knee, and then just a little bit about what he's been going through. But first of all, Yasiim, I'd like to get your focus. What are you focusing on coming into this season? What's kind of your focus?
Well, my main focus is actually just to be more consistent and stay healthy, obviously, because of my injury that I went through, which was one of the worst injuries that I ever had. And I just think that with me working harder and lifting harder to prevent more of those type of injuries from happening to me, really.
Well, it's been tough for you, and of course through high school you never really had any kind of injury, but sometimes adversity can build us up stronger, and I think you're allowing it to do that. Let's talk about your degree a little bit. What are you looking to go into, Yasiim?
Actually, I was looking to go into physical education, but I guess I'm going to just stick with general ed, because I will have to wait like 3 more years, I think, to be able to graduate from physical education, and I'll graduate in next December in general ed. But I'm looking to use that degree to be able to coach and possibly work in like an administration program, hopefully at Boys Town.
Well, Boys Town, of course, I think Boys Town, you would attribute Boys Town as turning your life around. It was a great haven for you, as you coming from Chicago, and it did a lot for you. I think you'd be great for young people. I think you have an experiences that would be invaluable that you could pass on to young people, and that's probably kind of what you're looking at, right?
Definitely. I don't know, ever since I came to Omaha and went to Boys Town in high school, like after my first year of wrestling, I looked up to my coach so much, and it was like something that I felt like that I was good at, because I was able to lead also like my teammates, and a lot of my teammates looked up to me, and I felt like with me being able to learn wrestling as quick as I did, I was able to also help some of my other guys in the wrestling room get better as far as a coaching standpoint. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons why I would like to coach and try and give back to kids like my coach gave to me, an opportunity to be able to go to college and have a life other than the life that I was living before Omaha.
Well, you've been through some tough stuff, Yasiim, and I think you've done a tremendous job of handling all that and keeping yourself pretty focused. This last year was tough for you because you went to school part-time and really rehabbed from all the surgery that you had, and that was tough. You weren't able to come to practice and that kind of thing. Tell us a little bit about that, kind of what you went through.
Well, with being injured, it was kind of a setback for me, because obviously I've always been like an active person, and working out all year round and being able to be athletic and stuff like that. And when that was taken away from me, it was like I didn't know really what to do with myself. So it's just a good opportunity that finally I got healed up, and I'm actually ready to continue to work out and participate with the team. So I'm just looking forward to that.
Well, we have to commend you. You took 6 hours each semester, and I know it was probably really one of your lowest points, right?
Mm-hmm.
Having to sit out that whole year and rehab the whole time, but you kept your grades up. You did well in those 6 hours each semester, and of course that certainly helped you toward your degree.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us exactly how long you have now to get your degree. If you're going full time each semester, when will you to get it?
Well, right now I'm actually only need 36 hours, and after this year I'll need 12 hours. So in December of next year, of 2010, I'll be able to graduate, which I will be the first male in my family to graduate from college, and only one other person other than my mom, which was my oldest sister, that graduated from college. So I'm kind of looking forward to being that first male in the family to get a degree.
Well, we commend you for that, Yasiim. We commend you. I tell you, going through this tough, it was tough. Injury is the toughest thing an athlete has to deal with, really. If you have a poor performance, you can work on it and come back.
Mm-hmm.
Injury, it's so slow. You got to be patient and just keep working at it. Yasiim, you've been on a a lot of our teams. What do you think of this year's team? I mean, you've been on a lot of teams. You're a veteran now, and what do you think of this year's team as you've looked at them?
Well, I think we got a lot of power this year, and it's good to be on the team every year and being on a consistent team that actually does well every year. I mean, the times that we took, the 2 years that we took third, we had great teams then. It's just a few things that we didn't do right, and we got set back, but I'm looking forward to it because we got a lot of good guys on our team that's from the starters on down, and it's just good to be around a positive, influential team like we have. So I'm looking forward to it. It's great.
Well, Sim, I commend you for just hanging in there, hanging tough, and really, I think, some of the things that you've gone through can really, if you use it the right way, can help you down the line. I mean, for one thing, just dealing with young people who have to go through adversity and how to handle that.
Definitely.
How to handle adversity. You've had to handle some adversity in your lifetime. Not just this. I mean, it hasn't been easy for you. Coming out of Chicago to Boys Town, and tell us a little bit, because there's a great story in just how you got into wrestling. What got you into wrestling at Boys Town?
Well, the family teachers that I lived with in Boys Town when I first came in 2001, they had like this rule where you had to at least go out to participate in the sport, and whether you made it or not, that wasn't a factor. But if you didn't go out for a sport, you had to be put on a subsystem, which means you have to make a certain double amount of points of what you have to make to use your privileges. And I was only 4'11" and a half when I came in 2001, so they was like, well, and I couldn't play football because I came mid-season. And it was wrestling and basketball season, and I was like, well, do the wrestlers have to wear those little tight uniforms? And they was like, yeah, and I was like, well, I definitely don't want to do that. How about basketball, And then one of my housemates that was actually a senior, and he was a wrestler, and he also played football. He sat down and talked to me and was like, you only this short. I don't think you'll do too well in basketball. I think you'll be a great, wrestler if you put forth some effort into it. So I decided to go out for wrestling, and I actually ended up becoming pretty good, I guess. So.
Well, and I think there was a coach that had a little influence on you out there. You might talk about that a little bit.
My high school coach, Coach Groff, is like the first time I ever met him, it was like he didn't know me and I didn't know him. I had him for an English teacher, and I walked past his class and didn't know that was the class I was supposed to go to. And then I turned around and was like, "Hey, are you Coach Groff? I'm supposed to be having an English class." And he was like, "Yes." And he was like, "What's your name?" I was like, "Sim." He was like, "Great, you're wrestling." And I was like, "What do you mean?" This is before I even had, this was during the football season. And then he's like, "You're wrestling." I'm like, "What do you mean?" And then he just grabbed me, like, and kind of slung me in a room and kind of beat me up. And ever since then, he always just used to beat me up. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I was like, okay, well, I guess I have no other choice but to wrestle, because if I don't, I'm going to get beat up by Coach every day. So
that might be a little more even right now, do you think, with you and him go against each other?
I think it'll be even now, yeah. He always tell me, I'm getting old now, so I don't want to wrestle you. He's like, I'd rather take on some of the little guys. And I was like, yeah, I think that's smart.
Well, he had a tremendous influence on you. And then, of course, your brother wrestled. So that was, I think that was really neat for you to have your brother on the team too,
yeah,
right?
Definitely. It was great because my brother, obviously we both came from Chicago. He came a year after I did, but he actually got into way more trouble, within the year that I was gone. And to be able to have him come to Boys Town a year later with me being more of a role model figure for him, it was just great to have him around and actually be an influence on him to change. And he did well in wrestling and ended up going to the military and is doing well right now, so it's good. It was great to have him come up here.
Well, I think you've had a real positive influence on him, Sim. I think you can have that kind of same influence on the young people. I think you'd be great for young people. Well, Sim, we want to wish you a great season.
Thank
you. Really getting through this adversity, I think it's going to, help build you. And if you just use it in the right way. But I want to thank you for that. We're proud of you and coming through all that, and I think the best is yet to come.